How to let go of control and let the universe act. Imagine for a moment that you're standing on the shore of a rushing river. You have two choices. You can fight against the current, spending all your energy trying to swim upstream, or you can surrender to the natural flow of the water and allow it to carry you exactly where you need to go. This simple metaphor encapsulates one of the most profound truths that Michael A. Singer teaches us in his revolutionary works. The difference between living from resistance and living from surrender. Right now, as you listen to these words, your mind is probably generating a list of all the reasons why you can't simply let go of control. It's telling you that if you don't maintain a tight grip on every aspect of your life, everything will fall apart. But what if I told you that that voice in your head, that constant internal dialogue that Singer calls the mental roommate, is precisely what keeps you trapped in an endless cycle of struggle and suffering? Singer invites us to recognize a fundamental truth. You are not that voice in your head. You are the silent observer who listens to that voice. You are the pure consciousness that exists behind all thoughts, emotions, and sensations. And from that place of conscious observation, you have the power to choose whether you identify with the mental drama or simply allow it to flow without resistance. First great idea, the ego as an obstacle to natural flow. The first barrier you must recognize on your path to surrender is your own ego. Singer describes the ego as that part of you that constantly tries to protect you from the outside world, creating stories about how things should be so that you feel safe and comfortable. The ego operates from fear and the need for control because it fundamentally doesn't trust life. Think about the last time something didn't go as you had planned. What was your first reaction? You probably felt resistance, frustration, maybe even anger. That reaction didn't come from your true self, but from your protective ego. The ego believes that if it doesn't control every variable, something terrible will happen. But Singer teaches us that this belief is a complete illusion. The reality is that life has its own innate intelligence. As Singer mentions in The Untethered Soul, life knows what it's doing. If you just relax and allow life to flow through you without trying to alter its course, you'll discover something extraordinary. This cosmic intelligence has been orchestrating the perfect dance of the universe for billions of years, and you are an integral part of that dance. Practical exercise. For the next 3 days, every time you feel the urge to control a situation, stop and ask yourself, is this need for control coming from my ego or from my true self? Simply observe without judging. Notice how the simple awareness of this difference begins to create space between you and your impulse to control. Second great idea, surrender as an act of courage. Contrary to what your mind tells you, surrender is not an act of weakness or passivity. It is, in fact, the most courageous act you can perform. It requires tremendous inner strength to let go of your need to control and trust in the natural flow of life. Singer explains that when you truly surrender, you're not giving up your power. You're aligning with the infinite power of the universe. It's like stopping rowing against the current and allowing the waters to carry you toward your highest destiny. But this surrender must be complete, not conditional. Most people practice what we could call partial surrender. They say, okay, universe, you can handle this situation, but only if it turns out the way I want. That's not surrender. That's negotiation. True surrender, as Singer describes it, means completely letting go of your attachment to the outcome. Surrender is a state of total openness, where you have no preference about what happens, Singer tells us. It's a place where you trust so deeply in the wisdom of life that you're willing to allow anything to emerge, knowing it will be perfect for your spiritual growth. Practical exercise. Identify a situation in your life where you've been struggling to control the outcome. It could be a relationship, a work project, or even your health. Tonight, before going to sleep, place your hands over your heart and say out loud, I completely surrender to whatever is best for my highest growth. I trust in the wisdom of life. Observe what sensations arise in your body when you speak these words with sincerity. Third great idea, the art of allowing instead of forcing. One of Singer's most powerful teachings focuses on the difference between allowing things to happen and forcing things to happen. When you force, you're operating from the belief that life needs your constant intervention to function correctly. When you allow, you recognize that life already has its own inherent perfection. Imagine trying to make a flower bloom faster by pulling on its petals. Not only would you fail to accelerate the process, but you would probably destroy the flower. The same thing happens when you try to force the events of your life to conform to your expectations. Singer teaches us that life is like a powerful river flowing toward the ocean. You can spend all your energy trying to push the river in a different direction, or you can relax and allow the current to carry you where you need to go. The key is learning to distinguish between inspired action and forced action. Inspired action arises naturally from a place of peace and clarity. You feel an internal impulse that guides you towards certain behavior, but there's no desperation or anxiety behind that action. Forced action, on the contrary, is loaded with tension, fear, and the belief that if you don't do something specific, something bad will happen. Practical exercise. For one full week, before taking any important action, pause and ask yourself, is this action arising from a place of peace or a place of fear? Am I allowing it to flow naturally, or am I forcing an outcome? Keep a small journal of your observations. You'll notice that actions arising from peace tend to generate more harmonious and effortless results. Fourth great idea: transforming resistance into acceptance. Resistance is the number one enemy of surrender. Every time you experience resistance toward a situation, you're essentially telling the universe, this shouldn't be happening. But Singer reminds us of a fundamental truth. What's happening is exactly what needs to happen for your spiritual growth. Reality is your friend, says Singer. If you're arguing with reality, you're arguing with the universe itself. This resistance is not only futile, but also creates unnecessary suffering. When you resist what is, you create an internal friction that keeps you trapped in patterns of negativity and victimization. The transformation from resistance to acceptance doesn't mean you become passive in the face of injustices or that you don't take action when necessary. It means that you first completely accept what is present in this moment, and from that place of acceptance, you allow the most appropriate response to arise. When Singer speaks of acceptance, he's not referring to resignation. He's referring to a conscious recognition that this moment, exactly as it is, contains everything you need for your spiritual evolution. Every experience that comes into your life, Singer explains, is perfect for helping you grow beyond the limitations of who you thought you were. Practical exercise. Identify something in your current life that you've been intensely resisting. It could be a work situation, a behavior pattern of someone close to you, or even an emotion you keep experiencing. For the next 5 days, every time you notice resistance toward this situation, breathe deeply and say internally, I completely accept this moment exactly as it is. I allow it to teach me what I need to learn. Observe how this simple practice begins to transform your relationship with the situation. Fifth great idea: living from an open heart. The culmination of all Singer's teachings about surrender is found in learning to live from a completely open heart. He describes the heart as your most powerful energy center, the place where your infinite capacity for love, compassion, and connection with all life resides. But for most people, the heart has gradually closed over the years as a protection mechanism. Every time you experience pain, rejection, or disappointment, a small part of your heart closed to avoid future suffering. The problem is that a closed heart cannot receive the love, abundance, and miracles that life is constantly trying to offer you. An open heart, says Singer, is the key that unlocks the door to an extraordinary life. When your heart is open, you become a clear channel for the energy of the universe to flow through you. This opening of the heart is not something you do occasionally. It's a way of being that you can cultivate moment by moment. The practice of keeping your heart open requires that you let go of your need to protect yourself from the world. It means being willing to feel everything completely, both joy and pain, knowing that all experiences are serving your highest growth. Singer teaches us that when you live with an open heart, you don't need to control what enters your experience because you know you have the internal capacity to process anything life presents to you. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be present with what is, without needing to change it, control it, or escape from it. Practical exercise. 3 times a day for 2 weeks, place your hand over your heart and ask yourself, is my heart open or closed in this moment? If you feel it's closed, breathe consciously toward the space of your heart and say, I choose to open my heart to this moment, whatever happens. Practice this heart opening, especially in situations that would normally make you close down. This practice will fundamentally transform your way of relating to life. The complete transformation from struggle to grace. When you fully integrate these 5 ideas into your daily life, you experience what Singer describes as living in the flow. You're no longer constantly fighting against life's current, but you've become a conscious participant in the cosmic dance of the universe. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily practice, patience with yourself, and the willingness to release deep layers of conditioning that have been operating for decades. But with each moment of true surrender, with each conscious breath toward acceptance, you come closer to living from your true self. Surrender, Singer tells us in one of his most powerful teachings, is not something you do once and you're done. It's something you do moment by moment, breath by breath, until it becomes your natural state of being. The beautiful paradox of surrender is that when you let go of your need to control, you gain access to a power much greater than anything your individual ego could generate. You align with the creative forces of the universe itself, and your life becomes an expression of grace instead of struggle. Remember this as you continue your journey. Each moment offers you a new opportunity to choose between resistance and surrender, between control and trust, between living from fear or living from love. The choice is always yours, and the universe is patiently waiting for your decision to let go and allow miracles to enter your experience. As Singer constantly reminds us, life wants to give you more than you ever dreamed possible. Your only job is to get out of its way and allow it to happen. In this moment, as you finish listening to these words, you have the opportunity to make that transformative choice. The river of life is flowing exactly where you need to go. Are you ready to stop fighting against the current and allow it to carry you home?